Well, hello again. Didn't we just do this yesterday? Hey, it's NUX here, coming to you live from our wonderful studios here in Torrance, California. It's nice and sunny outside. Hopefully, it's great where you are today. If you're watching this on the Pedal Guy channel or on the NUX channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy yourself today. I see Chris is there. Hello, Chris. It's good to see you. Glad to know you're there, and we're going to keep an eye on things today. We ran into a few technical problems yesterday. Pushed the boundaries of what this internet service can do here for us here with our uploads. We went to a few too many channels, and it turned into a bit of a fiasco. So today we are going to try to reverse course on that and actually get through the whole bloody thing so that you can see everything that I had already planned and everything. It was like this is completely all Martha Stewart up and ready for you. We've got everything all set to go and pre-baked so we can just get right through this presentation today. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be talking about the MG50, obviously, which is my fine feathered friend sitting right down here. And I've also put a MIDI controller there as well. So you can see that we're going to be talking about MIDI controllers and how to use them with the MG50Li. Have to keep remembering that Li part, guys. And the MG50Li has been a huge success since the announcement at NAMM earlier this year. A lot of interest in it. I know that there is a lot of people out there waiting to put their hands on it. And I know that it's a little tough to get one at the moment, but rest assured that we are punching those things out as fast as we possibly can. If you're here in the United States, I have some great news for you. They are beginning to land as we speak now. There's a container that's already hit us. There's going to be another container in 2 weeks that will have even more on there. So if you've put an pre-order in with your favorite retailer, there's a very good chance you're going to see it in the next couple of weeks. So if not, just stay tuned. But in any case, today we're going to be talking about some of the FAQs that we got from our user group on Facebook. And we also positioned the questions during the presentation I did a couple of weeks ago on the MG50Li to get you all familiarized with it. And so we wanted to get some more questions out there from our community so that I can answer those questions in real time for you. But if you have a question during today's live stream, please be sure to use that chat down below or to the right, wherever it is on YouTube. Let me know what question you have, and I will go through them at the end of the live stream. And from there, I will go ahead and answer them. So do start asking those questions if you got them. We probably don't have everybody we had from yesterday's live stream, but nevertheless, this is a good opportunity to ask the vendor something about the product. So use those opportunities wisely. Anyway, so we're going to be discussing a few different topics today. Some of the topics we're going to be discussing include signal routing, how to use multiple effects, and how to use multiple amps with the 50Li, how to get more gain out of the 50Li, activating tap tempo. We're going to be talking about stomp mode and scene mode and what that all means. We're going to be going over the looper. And we're going to be talking about loading NAMM files and how to use NAMM files. We're going to be talking about MIDI control. We're going to be talking about audio I/O and how to use it with the 50Li with your computer, your smart device. And then we're going to be talking about the future. So hopefully in all of that, we're going to answer a lot of the questions that you've been waiting to ask. And I so very much appreciate you guys coming. I see that a few people have joined us. I got a question about signal routing, and I'm going to definitely talk about that with you guys. You have got it. Don't worry. This tutorial is going to show you everything you need to know about signal routing. So let's take a look top down here real quick at what we've got. So I've got my MG50Li obviously right here. We're using a C5RC as our input. We've got a MIDI control switch here to show you how to program or how you could use a MIDI foot switch with the MG50Li, which is an extremely powerful feature in the product. We're just going to be going over other things like gain. We're going to be talking about inline trim. We'll be talking about stomp mode. We'll be talking about a whole bunch of different things today. And then, of course, we'll open the floor for Q&As afterwards. So do be sure to pop those questions in. Now, before we start talking too much here, let me get my handy-dandy guitar on. And this time, the guitar is not going to give us problems like it did yesterday. And we'll throw on the headphones as well. So everything should be pretty groovy today, I think, without too much trouble. I'll just throw the headphones behind me here so it doesn't get in my way. And let me go ahead and switch back to my top down here. So yesterday we were having some problems with the old Gibson here. It was giving us a few issues. Thankfully we figured out what the problem was. So let's make sure we got a tone. There you go. So we had a total fail, and that turned into quite a fiasco. Yep, had to do that. I've got sound effects on here too, so if we happen to tell a bad joke or a good joke, we'll have something to have a giggle about on a Friday afternoon, because let's not take ourselves too seriously. It's Friday. Let's all have a little bit of fun, okay? So let me also introduce you to my good friend, the iPad, which is my favorite touchscreen ever, and we can actually expand it out and make it look even more interactive. Woo! So we're going to start talking about signal routing. Now, when it comes to signal routing with the MG50Li, you've got 3 different modes to choose from. You've got serial mode, you've got parallel mode, and you've got split mode. And I've got a question here about, love to hear the 5150 amp. Yep. Well, we can do that. We can do that definitely later on in the live stream. So just remind me later. I'll also go back and take a look through it. But let's keep going with signal routing quickly here. So we have 3 different signal routing modes. We have serial, we have parallel, and we have split. And each one of them has its own features. So what we are looking at right now, if we're looking at it from here, I'm going to go ahead and go to top down. Everything I'm going to do here on the iPad here will be reproduced. So even if I make adjustments here, it would be reproduced on the 50Li itself. So from here, I'm just going to go into the edit so we can see what it looks like. I've already created a few presets for you here. And let me go ahead and bring my guitar into it. Okay, so what we are in right now is we're in serial mode. Now in serial mode, what's going on is it is being read from left to right, just like a pedal board, although pedal boards do go from right to left. But still, in this case, we're going from left to right. There are 14 signal blocks to play with. And in this chain, you can put basically anything you want that we have available. For example, in this particular preset, I've got an octave bass line. There's reason for that. I also have an amp. And I have an IR. I'm using a mono IR in this case, and I've got 1 delay. Now you can see that as I've been making those changes are all being reflected on the iPad as well. With the application. So it's one of the best features about the product is the app. Now, when we are in, I don't know why iCloud has decided to start talking to me here, but nevertheless, we'll just keep working with it. Now, when we're in serial mode, as I mentioned, it all goes from start to finish on 1 signal line. So from here, we can add other effects in, like if we go to the next scene, I actually already have that here where I've got a fuzz. So on scene 1, we have something that sounds like this. On scene 2, and we have have the octave bass line turned off. And again, I will tell you why in a bit. And then on scene 3, I've gone ahead and set up a touch wah. So we have something that sounds like this. Again, there is a reason why we're doing this. I know it sounds a little funky, but trust me on this one. So the next step is let's go to parallel and show you what's going on with that. So I'm going to go to the parallel preset that I've already gone ahead and set up. Now in a parallel, what we have is we have the divider signal block. And when we go into the divider signal block, and you can see that right here, we can go into, we can select channel A if we want to, channel B. Let me use my trusty dusty pen because I think my fat fingers are getting in the way there. Okay, so we can go through A, we can go through B, or we can do dual, which is A and B. You have your level for signal A and signal B. And what I mean by that is that you have signal A, which is this signal path right here, and then you have signal B, which is this signal path right along here. And in these modes, in parallel mode, you can process them separately until you get to the mixer signal block, which is right here. Now, somebody asked a question about this, and yes, here's what you can do with the mixer signal block. You can change the level of that for line A and line B. So you can change the level and you can change the panning. So if you listen to this, it sounds a little different, doesn't it? If I go into just the, let's say I'm just going to use the left channel. There's the left channel. If I go to the right channel, got a little more volume going on there. If I unmute both channels, we have this really interesting stereophonic sound. And we can take the panning and we can go hard left and hard right if we want to something that would sound something like this, which sounds kind of a little funky. Not really happy with the way that sounds. So I like to take the panning of the left and the right. I like to bring it a little more close to the center. I don't like going too hard left, right, because then it sounds kind of wonky. But we have in this, if you're wondering what's going on here with this preset, let's go down the signal path so we can look at that. So firstly, we have a modulation. We have a phaser 90. On channel A, we have an XTC Blue. Now, this is one of the deep images of the MG50Li, which is a profile that we have created. We have a ton of deep image profiles. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what a profile is, it is essentially a sampling of the amplifier. So we are capturing the amplifier and we are bringing it into the 50Li, but we call it deep imaging. And what happens with deep imaging is it's just like a multi-layered sample, if you're familiar with that, where each velocity triggers a different sample. It's the same idea, where we have different layers of that amp profile. We have up to 6 in a deep image. And that is really great because that means every knob turn, every little nuance is reproduced faithfully. And it just sounds that much better. But I will get to more about that one. Let me go to the IR here. So in the IR, we have, we're using a mono here in this case because we are doing a left-right mix here. And this has just got an M1960 with a V30. Now, from there, we have the mixer. And then you can see that we have a reverb, a delay, and a reverb behind that. What's going on is that the signal is being, the A and the B signal are being mixed together, and then it's going through a delay and the reverb for the whole thing. Now, why would I do that? The reason I would do that, the very simple reason I would do it, is because I don't want to make, I don't want to lose focus on the tone. Okay, if you've got too many reverbs going on and too many delays going on at the same time, you're going to sound like you're mixing in a washing machine. You're in the Grand Canyon. And look, for ambient music, hey, that's great to do stuff like that. But if you're playing like good old rock and roll, that's a little too much. So right here I have nice control over all that sound. So that's why I use it in that manner. Now here on the bottom on B, we have an AC boost because we're using a JC120. We're using a jazz chorus and we're using the corresponding jazz chorus IR. and then we have the harmonist. So again, you're probably saying, whoa, why do you have all that? Okay, well, this is why. So here's scene 1. Here's scene 2. Now that sounds wrong, but that's because I'm not playing within the key that the harmonist is set to. So if I start playing in the key, so if I go back to scene 1, scene 2, so you get the point, right? All right, what do you think about that? That's some pretty cool stuff right there, right? Means you can make a really awesome mix. And we have more. There's more, but wait, there's more. We have what's also called split mode. Okay, now in split mode, what's going on is let me mute my mixer here. In split mode, we have a discrete A channel and a B channel. The A channel goes out to the quarter-inch outputs. The B channel goes out to the XLR. Why would you want to do this? Well, it's very simple. Sometimes when you're playing live, it would be great to have a couple of FR speakers on stage with you. You would use line A for those speakers. But you can send a separate and discrete mix out to the front of house for further mixing at a later date, or if the guy in the front of house wants to use a different reverb perhaps for processing, depending on how the live sound reinforcement is set up. That's one possible scenario. There's other possible scenarios too, like you could use it for recording. So we're going to record something that's dry and unprocessed so that we can reprocess it later with reamping or things like that. So in that kind of a situation, you can see here that we've got the divider, and the divider is then going out to signal A. We've got nothing on the two first signal blocks, but then we've got a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier. We then have a corresponding IR with that, and we have a plate reverb. If we go to signal B, we have an Epiphone Valve Junior. Now this is a NAM file that I loaded into it, along with a orange 112 and off to a Hall reverb. And so this gives us two completely distinctly different tones. So what I'll do is, here is the line A. So what you're going to hear now is line A. Okay, and now what I'll do is I'll go to line B, which is the XLR, and this is going to a mono. Now you're thinking, well, that's a little quiet. Well, we can fix that. We'll just go to the outputs. We can mix that up a little bit. So when we're going between line A, okay, there's line A. Here's line B. So that gives us something completely different to play with. And that is what signal routing is all about. So you've got, again, to sum it up, you've got three different versions of signal routing. You've got serial, you've got parallel, and you've got split. So have at it, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Now let's get on to the next topic, and we're going to be talking about multiple amps and effects. So this was a question that was asked of us earlier, and how many of these effects can you have? How many of these amps can you have? So on and so forth. And there's a great point to this. Okay, so with the MG50Li, you get two of everything. So that means you've got two patch levels. You've got two EQs. You've got two noise gates. You've got two amps. You've got two cabinets or two impulse responses. Now, because it's Cyber IR technology, though, Each one of those IRs can be stereo. So in essence, you can have 4 cabinets at once, and each one of them can be distinctly different from the other. So you could have a 112, a 210, if you wanted to, a 412, and something a little more wonky on the other side as well. And you can put the microphone anywhere you want along the speaker axis. Of course, you can also load in your own impulse responses as well. Celestion has a ton of them. Chop Tones has a ton of them. There's several companies that offer impulse responses. And you can also change the microphone on the IRs that we include with the 50Li. So to give you a quick example of that, we can keep working. Let's go back with the parallel routing here. Let me bring the guitar back up. There we are. Yeah, I'm a Rush fan, so get used to it. I also love Jethro Tull too. I'm not sitting on a park bench though, thankfully. Anyway, let's go back to this one. So I'm going to talk about amps. So let's go into the amps. As you can see in this setup here, I've got 2 amps already. I've got, as we mentioned before, we've got the XTC Blue on one side. We've got the Jazz Clean on the other side. But I could change this to anything I want. Let's say I want to go to something completely different. I'm going to go to one of my impulse responses. I have on this side, I have a steel string singer, and I'm going to put a little drive on that. So I've got 3 instances of the steel string singer. So check that out. Now that's two dirty tones on top of each other. So maybe go with the clean. Balance it out a little bit. Whoop, little too hard there. Sorry. I mean, isn't that amazing? That just sounds so good. Okay, so going on from there, we have on the B signal path, we have an AC boost. So if we want, I'll tell you what, we'll put another effect here just for grins. I'm going to move this over to one more over to the side there, and I'm going to do something I probably shouldn't do. But hey, it's my live stream, so I'll do whatever I want to. I'm going to go to one of our deep images here. Let's go to a full tone. And let's turn that volume up. Okay, and let's do this. I'm going to move that over. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select that channel, and I'm going to bring it into the center here, or closer to the center at least. Right? Okay, so you're getting a good idea of what you can do here. So we have 2 effects here. We have 2 effect blocks. Let me bring that back to the right, hard left. And let's bring that back into the mix. Right? Okay, so we've got 2 amplifiers. Now, let's go to those impulse responses. So I've got a mono on one side. I've got a mono on the other side. But there's nothing saying I can't change it. I can go to stereo on this. Whoa, baby. So listen to this. Okay, so here's mono. Here's stereo. Woo! Put some spice on that one. And we can go and check out what we have. What is on that one? Okay, well, we have the same exact impulse response here. I'm going to go off the deep end here, and I'm actually going to go to one of my impulse responses that I loaded into this, which is an orange. Ooh, that is spicy. Okay, let's go over to the other channel. I'm going to go and change that to a stereo as well. And what's in the right? Okay, well, now that one's not the one I want. But what I do want is I want that Soldano 412. Oh, we're getting woo! We're getting a little hot there on the output. Ooh, baby. Okay, that's a little too hot. Let me go ahead and maybe change it to something else. Let's just do something totally off the wall here. We'll do a Princeville. Okay, I think we're driving it a little too hard, so I'm going to pull the level back on that side. I'm also going to change the microphone to a C414. Okay, so in essence, what I'm getting at here, guys, is that you can make this as crazy as you want, and you could tweak to your heart's content. And you can see that I'm definitely overdriving here. So the whole idea here is that you can have as many modulations, or as many, you can have 2 of each. Not as many, but you can have 2 of each. So again, go back to the way it was before. And then from there, you can go to, like, say, the second scene. Okay, so there you go. And that handles multiple amps and multiple effects. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Adjusting your gain. What's the gain? What's it all about? Well, you have a whole bunch of different ways that you can adjust the gain. One way you can do it is you can play quieter. No, one way you can do it is you can go into the 50Li here, and you've got your input trim. So from here, you've got 6 different input trims that you can select, and then you can set as input trim presets. Now, why would you want to do this? Because not every guitar is the same when it comes to its input trim needs. Something like, you know, this Gibson requires a little more oomph on the top end there. So I can get a nice gain and then save it as a preset. So if I go down here, I'm selecting the first one, I'm turning it up just a bit. Let me play a little bit while I'm doing that. So here it is. Get back in there. Now we don't want to go too high, but once we have it there, it's now preset in and you're good to go. And as you can see here, you can have 6 presets. So every guitar can have its own input trim. That's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it, and let me actually turn that brightness down because I just realized that's a little too much for this screen here. There we go. Okay. What you can also do is you can change the global EQ to be a little cleaner if you want. And of course, we have plenty of options inside of the 50Li to increase your gain on a clean sound. So if you're using, like, say, for example, if I go back, well, I'm actually on a pretty clean sound here because I'm using a jazz chorus. If I want to boost this, what I can do is just create a separate effect slot here, and I'll just go to an AC boost or maybe an RC boost. Bring that in. And what I'll do is turn that gain down. I'll bring that up. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so that's a nice clean tone. So yes, absolutely you can change the gain of the tone if it's clean, because I realize not everybody wants to rock and roll all the time. They want to have a nice clean sound for maybe creating some nice jazz chords. If I played that right, of course. So yeah, that's definitely a very easy way to do it. So hopefully that helps a lot. I see somebody's hanging out. Is this a replay of yesterday? No, this is not a replay of yesterday. This is a do-over of yesterday because yesterday's live stream had some technical difficulties. So I decided to just go ahead and do the whole thing all over again. Like that. Okay, now, next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about tap tempo. Tap tempo. We have tap tempo built into the MG50Li. It's incredibly easy to use. And I'll just take a look at it right from here. So if I go into the control expression, what we want to do is we want to set this up to use the fourth foot switch here. We want to use that as a tap tempo. So if I go to the scene here, if I go to 4, you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is correspondingly, it is 1, which is the expression pedal, 2, 3, which are the two inputs back there, and then 4. So I'm going to go to 4, and I'm going to change this to tap tempo. Okay, so now as I start making changes to it, you can see that the tempo is changing up here. And you can see if you look at the upper left corner of the app here, you can see that the tempo is changing along with it. Now, one of the other things you can do is if you go into the settings, okay, you can let's see, what am I looking for here? Other. You can tell it that you want the tap tempo to be either preset only, or it can be set to global. Now what that means is that in preset, it's just going to follow the tap tempo of the preset. It's not going to change anything else. But if you change it to global and then you start changing your presets, the tap tempo that you've set will stay with all of the presets as you move along. So that's a really, really cool feature. But that's as easy as it gets as far as how to do it. And we're just going to keep moving along here really quick because, I mean, you know, hopefully most of us have used a tap tempo. Perhaps we should look at it later and do a separate video for it. Okay, so I have a question here about using the quality of the effects. Yes, we can talk about the quality of the effects later on for sure. I'll be sure to do that. But for the time being, let's go ahead and let's talk about stomp and scene mode. This is by far one of my favorite features in the product. Okay, so the 3 foot switches can be used in 2 different ways. Well, they can be used actually in 3 different ways. One way is for presets, okay? And what I mean by that is that you take the 3 foot switches and you go between all the different presets. Quite simple, okay? Another way you can do it is where you can set the 3 foot switches to turn off and on various effects. So just like you do on a stomp box, on a pedal board, where you've got a bunch of effects, you want to turn off different effects at any given moment, you can assign those effects to the 3 foot switches. And then the other thing you can do is you can use it to go between the scenes. So that means that I can go into scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. Or I can, you know, in stomp mode, I can go distortion, delay, reverb if I want to. Let me show you how easy it is to do this. So the way we would do it is from the MG50Li is we would simply press the 2 foot switches here simultaneously, and that'll get us into stomp mode. Now you can also see that that has been reflected here on the app as well. So you're all set to go. I'm going to do what I'm going to do from the app itself here. I'm going to go to that first effect. So I'm highlighting the effect signal block, and I am going to assign that to foot switch A. I am then going to, well, actually, you know what? Hold on. This is not the right preset to do that with. Let's go with the parallel. And now let's go back into stomp mode. So now we're back in stomp mode. Okay, now it's going to be a bit more interesting. Okay, so in stomp mode, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assign this foot switch to stomp A. I'm going to assign the delay to stomp B, and I'm going to assign the reverb to stomp C. Now I'm going to go back out to the top level, and I'm now going to go actually in the 50Li. I'm going to go right in there. Okay, stomp A. Oh, we have to go into stomp mode. That would probably help, right? So now we're in stomp mode. Darn, I think I have to make that change again. Sorry guys, sometimes we go a little too fast for our own good. Okay, let's go back in there. And it forgot all of that, so let's reassign it one more time. So here we go. Stomp A. The delay will be to B, and the reverb will be to C. Okay, so now got the it's a phaser effect. And then over here on B, we've got the delay. And then we've got C. All right. So that's a really handy feature. Now let's go back to the first preset again so I can show you what the scene mode is all about. So I'm going to go back here and go from stomp mode to scene mode. So now I've got 3 scenes where I can select them from the different foot switches. So here we are, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. Or I can go right back to just the preset. Now, one of the things you can do to make it even more spicy if you want to is you could assign, you could have the row foot switches set up for, say, stomp mode, okay? And then you could have a foot switch if you want to, like the MIDI foot switch we've got here, we could actually assign those to the scenes so that you could actually have the best of both worlds. And I might actually have a little demo of that for you in a second here. But let's keep going along here. Let's talk about that looper. A lot of people have asked about the looper. How does the looper work? Well, it's so very simple. And in order to really demonstrate it, I'm going to actually start with something a little. Let's see. I'm actually going to go. This is something I am going to use scene mode for. I'm going to go to scene mode, and then I'm going to press and hold to access. See, so what I did there, sorry, I just realized the top down wasn't on. So we're in preset mode. I'm going to go to scene mode. And then what I'm going to do is hold for the looper. I'm going to press and hold for the looper. And there it is. Now the looper has also been updated here on the app as well. And what I can do is I can change the different settings right from the app, which makes it incredibly easy to use. So let me just take you through the parameters very quickly. We have the record button, we have the stop button, we have the clear button, and we have the undo button. You have 1 level of undo and redo. You also have normal record and you have auto record. Auto record will start when it detects a signal. That happens to be my favorite way to go. You have your effects, you have your looper placement, which is pre or post. And what that means is if you're in pre, it's going to put it at the front of the signal path. Whereas if you're in post, it's going to put it at the end. So most people do it in post because post will enable you to record one loop with a different tone and then exit the looper, go find another tone, and then go back in and do it again. So there are different ways to approach it. So I'll go ahead and keep it in post, and then you can change the loop volume right here as well. So I'll just get that right back to where it needs to be. So what I'll do is just very quickly, I'll hit the record button, and it's not going to start recording until it actually detects a signal. So let me just give you a quick little demonstration. Let's see if that came in clean or not. Yeah, that's pretty clean. Okay, so at this point now, if we want to, at this point now, let's go ahead and hit play again. Let me exit. Now, let me go ahead. Change scenes. And then I can go back into the looper. And I can record a totally different sound. So let me actually pull the... I'm not going to do anything too crazy here. I'm just going to go ahead and just record an overdub. So here we go. Let's tap in. Okay, so if I don't like that, I can always hit the undo button, and that gets rid of it. But then I say, oh, well, actually, I do like it. I can bring it back. So undo, redo. Now I can stop, and then I can clear. And you can do all that from the... I have no idea what you're saying there. The Paul UK. Maybe... I have no idea what you're saying. Okay. Anyway, there we are. We're back. Okay, so from there, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here, which is going to be NAM stuff. Okay, so we're talking about NAM files. What are NAM files? NAM files are based on NAM, NAM, neural amp modeling. And with neural amp modeling, you essentially have, I really have no idea who this guy is. Who's posting this stuff. So if, well, anyway, we'll see what that's all about in a minute. Okay, you know what? It's okay. Let's just keep going. I have... All right, so the Paul UK, I don't know who you are, pal, but if you could just stop typing in, that would just be wonderful, because I don't know what's coming through. It just looks like a bunch of gobbledygook to me. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. What we have is, with the NAM file, we have the ability to load in what are called neural amp models, which are amp samples. So it's somebody who samples an amp. I'm going to keep going, thank you. It's a sample of an amp that is recorded at a nominal level. And essentially, it's become this whole culture. And it's absolutely astounding what you can do there. From the, what you do is you can go to tone3000.com, and I will put a link in the video description. So after the live stream, you can go back in and check it out for yourself. But with the Tone3000, you can go to this database. You can find the amp that you've always wanted. Like in my case, I went and I found the let's see, let me give you an example. The Dumble Steel String Singer. I can't afford a Dumble Steel String Singer, but I can certainly download a NAM image of that file, a NAM file there, and bring it in. And it's completely open source and it's completely free. That's one of the beautiful things about NAM files. Another instance was I went to go find a Rockman. Now, I'll tell you a funny little story about Rockman, just real quick. So with Rockman, when people would come to me and show me amp modeling back in my buyer days when I was a buyer at Guitar Center, they would always show me this stuff. You know, here's our amp model of the Marshall. Here's the Fender. Here's the Vox. And I was like, ugh, geez, you know, everybody has these. Find me something unique. And I said, why don't you ever do a Rockman? What is wrong with you guys? And nobody could ever do it. But now I can go onto Tone3000 and I can actually download a Rockman. I can download a Rockman NAM file for free. And I did, in fact. So what I'll do here, let me show you what that's all about really quick. I'm going to go here and find a blank preset. Okay, here's my blank preset. Okay, great. And I'm going to go and bring in a NAM file that I downloaded. So I'm going to go to amps. Here are all the model amps, and now we start getting into the images. Okay, and then from there, here we go. So I've got Dumble, I've got my Rockman. So if I go into Rockman here and bring that in. Okay, so that doesn't sound so great. It sounds pretty, you know, it sounds pretty nasally. I wonder why that is. Oh, well, that might be because we don't have a cabinet behind it. Well, whoops, we probably better do that. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the impulse response, and I'm going to go into stereo because Tom did things in stereo. What do you think about that? That's pretty cool, right? And and then we can go and change it any way we want. Like we can change the distance if we want to. We can change the microphones on each side. So on the right side, let's go to a C414. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do with it. And somebody just asked a question about profiling your own amp. That is actually what the MG50Li does. The MG50Li is a profiler of its own. So you can actually go in here and you can use the image. It'll give you a diagram of how it works. This now works with an app that is available on our website. And it shows you exactly what you need. So as long as you have a load box, and your computer and your amp, you should be just fine. It's actually a really simple, it's actually a very simple technology. Well, not a simple technology, it's a simple technique to do it. It takes a lot of practice, and actually we released a video a couple of days ago. Kevin at the office released a video a couple of days ago that shows people how to create images of your own. But I'm going to take it a step further, guys. What we're going to do here, and this is very exciting here for the office here, is that we are in Los Angeles, okay? So we have some of the best amps in the world available at our local rental house. We're going to go to our local rental house. We're going to start renting those amps out. We've got a load box coming. We are going to do our own deep images here, and we're going to release them for free. So when you use the MG50Li, you're all set to go. And we might even create NAM files of it too. So if you're using the MG30, the MG300 Mark II, the MG400, the MIDI Plug Pro, the MIDI Space, the Amp Academy Stomp, you'll be able to get in on the fun as well. How about that? Doesn't that just ring your bell a bit? So that is something we are going to profile that we're gonna do in the process here. So it's going to be really, really fun. All right, I have to keep going here because we have a few more topics that we've got to hit, but do keep those questions coming in. I promise I will get to them. We don't have as many questions coming in today, but I will be more than happy to answer them for you. Okay, now we're going to talk about MIDI control. Now we're going to talk about MIDI control. Oh, MIDI control, MIDI control. I love the MIDI control. Let me go back to my blank serial because I actually do have an example of this, of what we can do. Now, with MIDI control, let's talk about that. Just about everything inside of the 50Li can be controlled via MIDI. That can be a program change. It can be a controller change. You can map it out to knobs. You can map it out to foot switches. You can map it out to sliders. Basically anything you want to do. It's very simple. In our case here, I'm using a 4-button foot switch MIDI controller here, and this is going to help me demonstrate how it works. But if we go to the app, in the upper right corner, you see the 3 dots right there. You can go and select MIDI list. These are all of the parameters that are available to you via MIDI. I mean, isn't that great? Look at that. There's 83 different possibilities. And you can literally do pretty much anything you want. Now, what I've done is I have created a couple of examples here with the MIDI foot switch. So I've got 4 MIDI foot switches here to play with. And what I will do is go into the edit because I've programmed the first one to be a momentary switch. I've programmed the second one to turn off and on the 1/4-inch outputs as a mute switch. I've programmed 3 to be the mute for the XLR output. And then I've set up foot switch 4 to be the tuner. So in this case, I can just go in right here and create a MIDI momentary switch. Now, you're going to ask, why are you doing that, dude? Okay, well, here it is. In fact, let me turn off that guy right there, and let me go ahead and go to scene 2 so you can hear why I did this. So the reason I'm using, well, you're going to know in a second why I'm doing this. Hang on 1 second. Just making a little adjustment here. Okay, so I'm going to just hold a note. What I have done is I have taken the octave bass line, okay? The octave bass line is based on our 2D pedal, which is actually just hitting us now here in the United States. It's a 2D polyphonic octave pedal, and it has 3 modes built into it. It has a polyphonic octave, it has a bass line, and then it has what I really dig, which is the momentary switch, meaning that I can kind of tap out Morse code if I want to on the foot switch. And if I'm using other effects to go along with it, it just brings it out even further. So for example, in this situation here, I've got the MIDI foot switch turning off and on the 2D with a fuzz pedal in front of it. Now, if I go and I turn on the delay to go along with that, and then now you can see that the possibilities here. And if I go to scene 3, where I've got the touch wah, check this out. So I mean, isn't that cool? I love MIDI. I've been doing MIDI since the 90s, so I've used just about every little thing you can think of. And when it comes to the MIDI controllers out there, foot switches, knobs, sliders, keyboard controllers, and trust me guys, back in the 90s when I was starting to do this stuff with MIDI controllers, they didn't look nearly as sexy as they are today. They were so minimal. And of course, we didn't even have digital audio when we were doing it. It was all done with reel-to-reel tape machines. And we all hunted each other with clubs in the jungle. I don't know. Just trying to make light of the situation here. But here's another way to use the MIDI controller. If I go into the console, I've got the second. Oh, whoop. Let me go back again. So I'm going to go. It taps back out and goes out to the front there. So I'm going to go to the console again. I've got MIDI foot switch 2 that is controlling the 1/4-inch output. So. Right, and then I have the second foot switch, the third foot switch, which is set to the XLR outputs. So if I use this one, go back in there. Okay, so I don't have a lot of signal going through it, but if I went to say scene 3 and did that again, there's the 1/4-inch. So very, very handy. And then another thing I did is I also set up switch 4 to be the tuner. So I can go to the tuner. Now, again, that's just a preference. Like, why would I do that? Well, I don't want to go futzing around with the 4th foot switch here. I'd rather have an easier way to get to the tuner. So I programmed the 4th foot switch to do exactly that. So that's another thing you can do. Or you could, in this case, I'm going to bank up one, and I could just go scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. So I could program the foot switch to toggle around the different scenes. And then if I went into, say, let me go to let me go back to that one. So if I then go in here and I go into stomp mode, and let's say I do what I did again here, where I assign foot switch A to the modulation, foot switch B to the delay, foot switch C to the reverb, and then I've got this. Then I've got this to go through. I can now have the best of both worlds, where I can turn. So I can have the best of both worlds, where I can have the foot switches on the 50Li be the stomp mode, and then the foot switches on the MIDI controller be the scene controller. So I can have both stomp and scene simultaneously. That's a pretty hot feature. All right. Now let's talk about USB audio. Now this is something I'm just going to touch on for just a second. So with USB audio, we've gotten a lot of questions about how can I use the 50Li? Can I use it with my computer? Can I use it with my smart device? And the simple answer is yes, you can. With your computer, with your Mac or your PC, it is class compliant for Mac. It requires an ASIO driver for your PC, but there is a USB-C port on the back of the unit. It can be found right back over here next to the Bluetooth dongle. To record it into your Mac or your PC. From there, you can do things like use loopback, so you can do that for live streaming if you want to. You can also use it to reamp. Reamping is a really cool functionality. Let me know out there, guys. Let me know out there, guys. Has anybody done reamping with any of our products? Have you tried reamping? If you have, or if you haven't, just let me know. And we'll talk about it. Because if you guys want to know more about reamping and you want like a real example of how to do it with the 50Li, I will be happy to shoot some content so that you can check that out for yourself. Because it's a really cool feature where you can take something that sounds like this and then reprocess it and make it sound even bigger. There's just like unlimited possibilities of what you can do with reamping, and many of our products actually do it. All of our multi-effects do it. The amplifiers that are behind me can reamp. Our headphone amps, the MIDI Space, the MIDI Light BT Mark II, the MIDI Air, all of these can do reamping, and it is an amazing technology. So that's one way you can do it. Now, another thing people want to know is, can you record it onto your iPad? Well, you know, if you look at to your smart device, now if you look at the app here, you can see that we have some features here that aren't implemented yet. Whoops, and we got a crash as a result because it's not implemented yet. But yes, you can absolutely use, oops, there we go, now we're back. Okay, but the VJam is something that's coming to, the app here. And our plan is right now to make this the main app for most of our products going forward. So I can't tell you specifically which ones yet because I frankly don't know. But anything that is going to be controllable via Bluetooth should have access here. We're also getting a cloud going as well, so we'll be able to move people away from trading presets on Facebook groups and things like that. We'll be able to actually bring it in-house. So there's a lot of really great stuff coming along for that. But yes, you can use the MG50Li as an audio interface no matter what platform you're on. And then, of course, the future. What will the future hold? Hell, I don't know. I'm just the CEO here at the office. We never know what the future will hold. And all I can tell you is that this is the very first firmware for the product. Okay, we're just in the beginning stages of this product. So I believe that there's going to be a lot of huge things coming for it in the near and late future, because this is our new flagship, and we absolutely want everybody to gravitate towards this. Now, the thing about our products is that many times we will go back and we will keep updating the products no matter what. For example, we recently updated the MG30 to now accept NAM files. Okay, the MG30, this guy over here, this is a 5-year-old product and we still released an update for it. I think that's pretty hot if you ask me. I remember when that first came out, and it was I remember when it first came out and I had just tons and tons and tons of customers waiting for it. The MG300 Mark II, which is sitting back there, we also updated that to have NAM files loaded into it and TEEP images, and we did the same thing with the MG400. That's going to be out in the next couple of weeks. So yes, we are constantly updating it. So what I would say is, if there's something inside the 50Li that you'd really like to see, I think it would be great if you sent a message to us via the MG50Li user group on Facebook. That's always a great way to do it. Kevin is there. He is monitoring actively, and he will be adding that. He'll be adding feature requests to future firmware updates. And aside from that, I do know that we are going to be releasing a version of the 50Li that does not have the battery in it. We're just going to call it the MG50, and that'll be coming along shortly. Well, shortly, honestly, I don't know. I don't have the actual date, so I flubbed that one, sorry. But yeah, it is coming. And I think overall, I think the next steps of the MG50Li are going to be incredible. We'll have a non-battery driven one. We'll have the battery driven one. There'll be constant firmware updates to it. So I think we're going to have a really good time. But that basically is pretty much where we are at this point in the live stream. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my trusty mouse here, and I'm going to scroll back through here and see if there's some questions that I can answer. Okay. Well, actually, I have a question for you, Chris Butler. If you're watching right now, how's the stream looking? Did we make it look better this time? I'm wondering. Okay. All right. So wants to hear this gentleman would like to hear the 5150 amp in a modern metal type of tone. Well, let's see if I can do that for you. Let me move back here. I'll go back to my trusty. Well, actually, you know what? Let me go to a different guitar here that has a. Hopefully, this will behave itself. Let me go over to my PV Nitro. Yeah, this might not be tuned up, but we'll take our chances. Let's see how it sounds. Oh, I don't have a strap. Oh, bad guitarist, bad. Okay, let's get a strap for it. Let's bring it over. All right. Okay, that's pretty close. Okay, so you can see I've got my PV here. Let me throw my headphones back on. And let's see if I can give you a quick example of what that sounds like. So give me 1 second here. My headphones are rocking a little too much there. Bring everybody back up. Okay, great. So let me go in here and let's go and select our blank preset. And I will go here and let's bring up an amp. And let's see. Where is that amp? There it is. Okay, well, let's see if we have I forgot totally if we had one or not. I don't believe we do. No, we don't. Okay, so I'll just work with the model. So there's the model. Let's bring up an impulse response to match it, and I'll do it with a mono. Now, I'll just tell you, I'm not a metal player, so, you know, if I play metal, I'll make a complete ass of myself, but... Now, a couple things you can do to kind of metalize this up a bit is you can always go into the edit here, and you can go in and you can select a different microphone, maybe something like something like that. All right, so anyway, hopefully you like the way that sounded. Let me go ahead and mute the lines here, and let's keep going. Let's keep going. So, Gene Lopez, I hope you dug that one. Okay, so let's go to, here we go. So Truncate wanted me to do a demonstration of how serial and parallel modes worked, and so hopefully I'm glad that that helped you out there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh, this is one I saw earlier. NUX, are you honest with the amp sounds? Well, how do I answer that without sounding like a snide jerk? I certainly don't want to come off that way. Yeah, of course we're honest with the sounds. When we model them, we try to get as close as we can to the way it sounds through physical modeling. When we're doing deep images, we're sampling the actual amp. So yes, I think we get pretty darn close to the real deal. And I have some very high-profile users that, you know, some A-listers out there that do use our modelers, and they think they're some of the best they've ever heard. So and these are people that I grew up listening to as a kid. So I couldn't think of a better compliment than that. When you hear when you see our videos and you hear the audio that's playing in the background, we don't do anything with the audio. That's all natural. Everything you hear is all natural. We do not do a single thing. I don't do any tricks here at all when I shoot videos here for the channels. Everything you hear is from the NUX product. It's just as simple as that. So hope that answers your question. Okay, this was another one I saw earlier that I thought was interesting. Would be great if you could share those IRs and amps on a drive to be downloaded. You know what? As far as the IRs that I buy from Celestion, I can't share those for obvious reasons, but they are quite affordable. There's also Chop Tones that does a lot of impulse responses that you can buy as well. And there's a ton of free ones on the Tone 3000 website, so you can certainly find them there. But when we do create our own images, and we will be doing that soon, yeah, of course, we'll put it on a drive for everybody to have. We'll put it on the cloud when the cloud comes online. So yes, we're absolutely going to make those available to you because I created them, or this team created them, and we're going to share the wealth by all means, of course. I hope that answered your question. Let's take a look. Okay, well, we asked and answered this question if this was a replay of yesterday. No, it was not. Today is a new live feed because yesterday's was a bit of a cluster. So we were able to do a do-over. And let's keep going here. Let's keep going. All right. This one's a little tougher. Okay, can you show the quality of the effects? I only want to use it as a multi-effects without the amp sims. Want to use my ToneX for that. Thanks. Sure, if you want to throw out a couple of effects you want to hear, I'll be more than happy to give you a couple of demonstrations. Just throw me a couple of examples and I'll be happy to do it, all right? And then we had all this weird stuff going on from before. And Gene also picked up on the fact that it's that NAM files are open source. That's fantastic. Stream in English, chat in English, dude. Okay, I guess somebody finally did. Okay, here's a good one from Chris Butler. Thank you, Chris. What is the process and the physical connections you need to make to profile your own amp? Well, the easiest way that I can answer that is actually by showing you a close-up of the top down here, because we have the image button here, which is the center rotary encoder. If we press this, it shows you everything you need and where the physical connections are required. If you also go to our YouTube channel, as I mentioned earlier, Kevin did an amazing video this week that will take you through how to create your own image files on your own and how to compile them as well. So when you want to create several of them at once and compile them into a single profile, you can do that. But this pretty much shows you everything you need to do in order to make that happen. So I hope that answers your question, Chris. Thank you. Okay. I saw this question. I had to answer it. Would you say this thing is worth it? Well, you're asking the guy who works. You're asking the CEO of the company if I think it's worth it. Yeah, of course I think it's worth it. I think a lot of our products are worth it. Why not? Right? What harm could possibly come from it? I will say this. Okay, so to put a little more sauce on the taco there. When I first came to know NUX was when I had my dealership called the Pedal Guy. Some of you may be watching this from the Pedal Guy channel right now. And when I went to an amp show in I forget what year it was, but it was the first year that I was in business. I was looking for new brands to bring in. I met the guys at NUX and they said, why don't you try a couple pedals, bring them in, see what happens. And so I did, because I said, what the hell, they're over in Arcadia and I can just, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out and we'll just try a little bit. And so I bought a couple of pedals and lo and behold, they sold like within a couple of days. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I bought some more and they sold again. And this was just an ongoing thing that went on for a couple of years. And then we hit, I was getting, shipments like every other week from NUX, or I would run out to the office out there and pick them up myself. And then we hit the pandemic and next thing you know, I'm going out there pretty much every day of the week and picking up more stuff. So I was a user of the product and a seller of the product long before I worked for the company. So I only go to companies after 3 decades in this business. I only go to companies of whose products I believe in. I don't play games on those kind of things, because if I don't think the product's good, I'm not going to waste my time trying to promote it or try to talk about it. So I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that the NUX products are good. So I want to just give that little background to show that authentically, truthfully, transparently, yes, I'm a big believer in the brand. So hopefully that will help convince you. Okay, let's keep going here. Chris asked another question here. Can you profile, sorry, it looks a little weird there. Can you profile an amp with the IR rolled in? Yes, you can do that. Absolutely. Here's an interesting one. Can you split your chain A, B with frequency crossover? You mean like using it, I'm trying to follow the question there. So like using the expression pedal to go between the two, the two signals? I believe you can, but that is something I do need to explore a little bit more before I stick my foot in my mouth. So let me explore that a little bit. And that sounds like an interesting topic for a future video. I think I'll have to take a note of that one. Okay, let's keep going here. Here's another one from Chris. Can the MG50 send MIDI program changes, controlled messages to other gear? No, it doesn't send out MIDI. It does have MIDI out, but it doesn't send out MIDI. It doesn't send out controller changes, and it would be more of a through, I would think. I haven't actually used it in that regard, but you know, sending out MIDI clock and all that would be a really good feature if it had that. So I know that's been requested. I know that's been requested. All right, Chris is full of those questions today. Is that MIDI foot switch a NUX pre-production, or is it some other brand, considering the masking tape? Well, somebody picked up on that. This is not. Let me get my water out of the way there. No, this is not a NUX product. This is not a NUX pre-production unit. I believe that we are looking at it right now to do something there. But no, it's a different brand. It's not MVave. It's the other one that people have known my channel for. So if you've ever been to my channel and all that, you've probably, I'm going to take the headphones off here for a second, hopefully for the rest of the day. My head is on fire at this point for all the headphone wearing I'm doing today. But no, it's not ours. If it is, I hear rumors that we're doing something, but I don't know for sure. So I can't answer the question. But I had to put masking tape over it for political reasons. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, same motherboard. I'm guessing that's an MVave chocolate MIDI. It is not. You missed it. It's where the tones are not so hot. What did I say? Okay. There you go. I told a bad joke. There we go. Okay. Here's a good one. Okay, sorry if I missed it, but any word on when the manual will be out? Okay, there is going to be a more in-depth manual from what I understand from Kevin. I have not seen a draft of it yet, because typically they will send us the draft for us to proofread before it goes out, because I can't stand broken English, and I haven't seen it yet. But eventually, I think we will have it. However, by the time it comes out, there'll be videos to watch as well, so that you can learn more about it. Because we're certainly going to do a lot more content here for the product. We have our whole staff is all set to go. Hopefully it won't always be me doing the videos. There'll be some of our other fine ladies and gentlemen that work here doing the videos, but for the time being, we will continue to pump out more content about the MG50Li, because I have no intention of not talking about it going forward. It's that great of a product, and I want everybody to know it. So thank you for the question. The Li is still not available here in Germany. Well, I believe that we will be getting more out there soon. As I indicated earlier in the stream, we're punching those things out as fast as we can. And I don't think anybody anticipated the I don't think anybody anticipated the 50Li to be as big as it was, as people, or as the anticipation is as high as it is, I should say. But we're getting caught up on all of those now. So yes, you will have it soon, I promise. Let's see. Looking great, sounding great. Glad to hear it. I would definitely like to see more effects come in. Yeah, I agree. There should be more effects. I'd like to see it. But do keep in mind, we have 2 effects sends and returns in there, so you can roll your own as well. So you can bring in some of your favorite effects. And in some cases, you can profile it. So if you have like a favorite overdrive or distortion or boost pedal, you can profile it. And then that way you don't have to worry about us making one for you. And if you read the tea leaves, and you look at it, it's only going to be a matter of time before we're going to be able to start profiling our favorite pedals, whether they are overdrives or whether it's our favorite reverb or whether it's our favorite phaser. We'll be able to do that someday, I'm quite sure at this point. So just stay tuned to all of that. And well, we're definitely going to have more stuff come in. This isn't the last destination. This the last stop on this train here. Let's see. Okay, please show some effects. Okay, yeah, I'll be happy to show some effects. Let me go back here and let me do it from the app here really quick. So if we want to see some of the effects, let's go in and take a look here. So I'm just going to go to the effects block, and here's a distortion. Okay, now it doesn't look that exciting here, but if I switch over here to the channel here, in fact, you know what? I'll go back to this one so you can see it a little better, okay? How's that? And I'm gonna go ahead and hit the edit button, and you can see the different effects. So these are all of the modeled effects that come with the 50Li. Now, when we start getting into the No Bells overdrive, you can see the little tag right there, and that means it's an image. So we have deep images of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many. I've lost count already. In fact, a little fun-filled fact, the Turbo Overdrive was my very first pedal that I ever owned, and so it's now deep imaged here in the MG50Li. We have all of these other ones to work with, and then on the end we added the 2D polyoctave, and we also added in a mono octave as well, which is a heck of a lot of fun. If we go out and go back in and say let's change this to maybe go to that module. Where's that modulation there? There we go, modulation. And let's go in. Here are the modulation effects. Different stereo choruses, vibrato, detuning, phaser. The SCF is amazing. Univibe, rotary, harmonist, the SCH1, panning. Those are all in there, and just a ton of fun to work with. I mean, there's a lot of different effects that are built in. And I think maybe what we'll do, we'll do another video where we kind of focus in on maybe the group of different effects that are there. Maybe that'll help. Okay. Okay, here is a question. Can I record or create a deep image of an amp I'm using in Mac? Maybe let's say an amp setting in Logic. So I guess I'm trying to understand your question. So you're saying you want to be able to image an amp that's inside of, say, Logic, one of the amp models inside of Logic. You know, honestly, I don't know. That seems a little bizarre, but I suppose it's possible. But I wouldn't know how to proceed on that. But you know, something I could definitely position to the team in China and see if I can get an answer on that. So maybe we'll come back to that. Maybe we'll find some secrets that you didn't know about. Okay. Thank you for addressing the looper concern. I'm glad you got something out of it. It's a simple looper, but it's a very effective looper. Can you do some more of these on your other products? What are these? Please elaborate. I'll be happy to try to answer your question there. Let's keep going here. We're getting on to almost an hour and a half here. Okay. Right. Chris asked no, or said no cloud computing required, like on the Helix Stadium. Well, that's true. There's no cloud required. Everything is hosted on the unit itself, and you can control it from your iPad if you want to, or from your phone, which is incredibly helpful. It's yeah, it's all local. Here's an interesting one. Can it do amp channel switching via MIDI in front of in from the amp? Well, that really comes down to the MIDI messages here. So if we take a look here at the MIDI messages and see what we can do here, I mean the MIDI, the channel, there isn't really an amp channel switch per se, but what you can do, here's a way to go. Here's a way to go through it. You can use pro scenes, and when you use pro scenes, because our scenes are pro scenes inside of the 50Li, meaning that each scene can have a different amp with a different setting, or it can have an amp with a different. It can have the same amp with a different setting on each scene, and you can actually do your clean and dirty switches right from there if you want to. That's certainly a way you can do it, and that's something we'll explore with a future video for sure. So yeah, thank you for bringing that one up. Okay. Okay, this one's a bit of a long one here. Okay, I meant splitting the signal chain on different frequencies, high frequencies and low frequencies, separated to be processed manually like on the HX Stomp, particularly popular on bass guitar processing. I gotta say probably not. I'll go back and look at your original question, then put them together. And if there's a way that I can get to something that explains that a little better, I will certainly try to do that. Much better than the NUX 30. The MG30, well, I don't think it's a very fair comparison. I think the MG30 is absolutely still an incredible product for its price point and its value. And I would say that if you have the means to go for, the MG50Li, I'd say go for the MG50Li. But if you don't have the means, the MG30 is still a fantastic solution too. We've been selling them strong and steady for years now. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. I love it. I love the MG300 Mark II as well. That's what is so great about our product line, is we make products that fit everybody's budget. So everybody can have some fun with amp modeling, with amp profiling, with all of that stuff. So yeah. Are they going to be available on Amazon or AliExpress? They will absolutely be available on Amazon because we run our own store on Amazon. So if you've seen Everplay Music on the Amazon store here in the United States, that's us. As far as AliExpress, I don't have any idea there because we don't have anything to do with AliExpress whatsoever. I will say this though, if you're in the United States and you buy it through AliExpress and you need support, you're not going to get it because you have to buy it through a dealer here in the United States in order to receive warranty service. So please do us all a favor here and buy it via your local dealer. Support your local dealer or support Amazon, whatever. support United States business for those kind of things. If you're in the US, you're just doing yourself a favor if you do that. I don't want to say any more than that. I'm not trying to get on my high horse about it, but you know, we work very hard with our dealers, very closely with our dealers, and I like to protect them. And the fact that they give good customer service, personable customer service, they create a brick and mortar experience, and we appreciate all of their support. So there you have it. Okay. Okay, not just the unit itself, but you need your PC to profile. No, oh yeah, yes, you do. You need a PC in order to make that happen. Yes, that is part of the game. So you need to do that. Oh, this was nice. Some more show and tell presentations. I learn a lot seeing and listening to an expert and discuss. Yeah, absolutely. We do these live streams bi-weekly, so please feel free to keep coming back. This certainly will not be the last time we're going to talk about the MG50Li. We're going to keep talking about it on live streams. We're going to be talking about new stuff too, like this bad boy. Let me get that up here. The busking amp. This has been the hot item. People have been waiting for this for a while, and it will be coming out. It will be coming out very soon. In fact, I have 1,000 coming next in July. So, yep, you will definitely be doing more of those. Okay, this is very off topic, but off topic. Would you recommend the NUX MPK20, please? Yes, of course I would. It's a great sounding piano. It's a great sounding digital piano. It's fantastic. It's got those built-in effects. It's got the microphone input, reverb. It's got a price point that's really aggressive and nice. One of our artists, Samiko, a good friend of mine, she plays the NPK20, and she's just been absolutely blown away with the way it sounds. Thank you. Before this, I have invested a lot in these Neural DSP plugins and Paradise Guitar Studio. Well, I hope this helped you out. So, fantastic. Okay. Wow, I think we got all the way to the end here. Oh, that was such a nice thing to say, Chris. NUX has been very good at adding value and features and bug fixes over the life of their products. Definitely better than Boss. Oh, that's very nice of you to say. Thank you. Oh, here's an interesting question. Okay. Hoping NUX would become one of the first to provide in-house repairs or servicing or sell spare parts. Yeah, we do sell spare parts, actually. We carry like LCD screens for the MG30 and the MG300. We are trying to do repairs here. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. And we're actually going to get some more training from China so that we can actually do it. We had a gentleman fly in here last year to help us repair a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, we do want to be able to be that kind of a company, which goes miles ahead of everybody else. I mean, you know, we're not offshoring any of our business, any of our support. Everything is done here for the United States. We have an entire office here. When I first moved in here, we had 2 people, then we had 3 people. Now we have 8 people, and it's growing, and we're even talking about a 9th person now. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I think we're getting to the end of. Oh, and Sally Weber here said thank you very much. Thank you very much too, Sally. I appreciate you being here. Yes, Chris, you need to send the MP3. Why are you not sending it, dude? I'm trying to help you. Help me. Help you. Help me. Help you. Please. Okay. All right, well, it is Friday. This is now the second time I have done this live stream, and I am pooped. We still got so much more to do here today. So I think without further ado, I think we'll go ahead and say thank you very much for attending today. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another topic to discuss. I'm not sure what it'll be yet, but I'm sure it'll be a great one. And I hope to see you there. So until then, if you have any further questions, please hit us up at hello@nux.us. You can also reach us via nuxaudio.com and social media. So thank you very much for your time. We will see you soon. Thanks.